This is absolutely insane. The US Department of the Treasury is now hinting at a possible collapse of Tether, but that is not even where this all stops. We have to really get into this because Brad Garlinghouse, the CEO of Ripple, is also now warning all of you. That's right, every single one of you. So we have to listen close and pay attention because I'm going to go over everything in this video. So with that being said, welcome to the channel. Everyone, my name is Nick. For those that are new to the channel, over the end of this video, you do become a subscriber. So let's take a quick look at this post here from Subjective Views talking about the US Department of the Treasury hinting at a possible collapse of Tether. They mention a collapse not once, but twice in their most recent report on digital assets in the Treasury market. Now, real quick, before I do, read this, just remember that a couple of days ago there was breaking news. Now, yes, this did kind of get killed down a little bit by the CEO of Tether. We don't know what's going on behind the scenes, but apparently the federal government was looking into investigating cryptocurrency company Tether for possible violations of sanctions and anti-money laundering rules. Nobody saw this coming. Well, technically, almost everyone saw this coming because it was always a looming thing, but there was no confirmation of this. There was not, really anything going on with this. So we don't know if it was just FUD or, Wall Street Journal trying to pump their own bags or their shorts, I should say. We don't know what was happening, but regardless, let's go over here and let's take a quick look at the facts. So here we have the growth in stablecoins has resulted in a modest increase in demand for short-dated treasuries. And here we have over on the right side, US Treasury bills held by Tether in the billions. And we can see how this is a strategic move by Tether technically. If we continue to see this massive amount of US Treasury bills held by Tether, if they go after Tether, all of a sudden it's kind of like, they're really kind of shooting themselves in the foot, if you will. So as we do really think about this, I think that that's the number one thing that's been holding back a lot of, the targeting of Tether, but I do think that will soon come to an end. And I do think that, who knows what's going to happen in 2025, but I do think that with regulations, I think that Tether should definitely be questioned. But on the right side, we also have an example of Tether's. This is 2024 Q2 collateral backing. Now it says that the backing is here, it's all solid, everything is all good, but there was no, straightforward audit of this. There was no actual audit, and it's still something that we question to this day. Now, on the left side, we also have top stable coins by market cap, and we have Tether at over $120 billion worth. Now, also on the right side, we have financial stability risk in a future state when the tokenized market is significantly bigger. And we have runs on stablecoins have been a common occurrence in recent years, and a collapse of a major stablecoin like Tether could lead to a fire sale of short-dated treasuries. Very interesting. Now, also on the last slide here, we also have financial stability considerations, risk on of runs on stablecoins. A collapse of a major stablecoin like Tether could result in a fire sale of their US Treasury holding. So Aisham, okay, all of a sudden you have the US purposely collapse Tether, buy up all their treasuries at a discounted price, and the US makes out like a bandit. Could definitely be something interesting. Now, also we have, if history serves as any guide, stablecoins will need to be regulated like narrow banks or money market funds to prevent contagion of stress in stablecoin markets to broader financial markets and the treasury market. And now, what I find very, very interesting about this is they were also talking about central banks here for a little bit of time, which I thought was very interesting. They were more so tying back companies to central banks within this, which again kind of leads me back to Ripple, which we will get more into here in a second. But here is that post that we have. These ledgers will also need to be developed under this is basically just the guidance of central banks and the foundation trust they provide. The full potential of tokenization requires some monetary unit of account that denominates transactions, accompanies the means of payment, and is accepted without question by market participants. So this is definitely interesting because, again, we could tie this right back to Ripple and even XRP and the XRP ledger because of how many central banks Ripple is still working with. They're in discussions with over 20 of them, but more so let's focus on Tether, because if we go all the way back here to April, and there's a lot of people talking about how Tether is going to be fine. Oh, Tether can, be covered under MiCA. Guess what? Tether is still not covered under MiCA, and it's still delisted on a lot of exchanges around the EU space, including Coinbase. The dollar is the universal currency, but it wasn't us. We were banned and barred from using it. And now 95% of all external trade of Russia is denominated in national currencies. They did it themselves with their own hands. They thought we would collapse. Check this out. You say we need to be more active. How? I think making too much fuss is inappropriate. We're taking individual steps, one after another, as regards the finance. We did not drop dollars in the dollars, the universal currency. It wasn't us. We were banned and barred from it. And now 95% of all the external trade of Russia is denominated in national currencies. They did it themselves with their own hands. They thought we would collapse. No, we haven't. Now, you might be questioning, why is this important? Well, it's because Russia continues to accelerate this, push on the de-dollarization effort, and the dollar is, dropping, it's collapsing. What is the US going to do? But even over here, we have stable coins will serve as the United States defense for the US. dollar status as a global reserve currency in response to de-dollarization. I've been reporting on this since going all the way back to 2023, and a lot of people are still looking at the wrong target here. The BRICS are an accelerant for what we are seeing around crypto, what we are seeing around finance, aka the reset to a digital-based financial system. 99% of stablecoins are denominated in USD, reinforcing the dollar's influence in the digital economy. USD also dominates FX reserves, international debt and loans, and the SWIFT network further cementing its role in global financial infrastructure. As stablecoins gain regulatory clarity and adoption increases, they will help sustain the dollar's relevance in a rapidly changing global market, countering the effects of de-dollarization. Soon after the BRICS nations revealed their new payment system, the US stablecoin regulation will follow. And yes, that means that as we do start to see Russia continue to push forward, regulations heat up heavily. Now, also, I want to bring this up because with regulations, the big question in the room is what's going to happen to Tether? And even over here, Brad Garlinghouse has a warning for everyone. And this was at Swell 2024 this year. Ripple CEO, Black Swan warning. During Ripple Swell 2024, Brad Garlinghouse speculated a Black Swan event could turn the United States into the blockchain capital of the world, drawing connections to the 1996 Telecom Act when the USA became the leader in the internet. Do you believe America will become the blockchain capital of the world? Now, before I even play this video real quick, remember what I just said about Tether. Okay, they're one of the largest holders of US Treasury bills. But they're talking about a run on this, right? AKA Tether would lead to a fire sale in US Treasuries. This would be a massive black swan that would have contagion effects into traditional finance because of how large their US Treasury holdings are. This could set the US up to become an absolute giant around blockchain. Check this out. The last slide we'll put up has manifested interestingly. You look at the left side of this chart and it shows how many companies in the internet space are US based and US value accretion. And then the right side is kind of in the crypto space. It's kind of not surprising, you know, if we, as you and I have talked about, you know, the earliest days of the internet, the regulatory clarity was created through the 1996 Telecommunications Act. And so investors flowed in, entrepreneurs flowed in, entrepreneurs flowed in. That hasn't yet happened in the United States as it relates to crypto, hopefully soon. But, you know, maybe this will change. I'm hopeful. And I agree it could be a black swan event. So there you guys have it. And yeah, I do think that a black swan event is going to set the US up to become a blockchain capital, but also a blockchain leader. And this is going to be the help, or this is going to be with the help, of us-based companies like Ripple. And we already know that Ripple is quoted as being the leading provider of digital asset infrastructure for financial institutions, with a proven track record working with regulators and policymakers around the world, released one day ago from the Monetary Authority of Singapore. Look at this, they have it quoted, building credibility and trust in enterprise blockchain. Here we have, seems like great timing for Ripple with their RoUSD being launched. US stablecoin legislation likely passed in late 2024. This was from Jeremy Allaire talking about, you know, they're closing in on a bill that could pass both chambers and reach the president's desk in December. What a victory for the US to take the dollar forward with the age of the internet. Yeah, I do think that, listen, regulations are knocking on our door for stablecoins. And I do think